Ask the Messengers, the program that deals with substance abuse, real people telling real stories. Where there is addiction, there is a chance for recovery. We're trying to help save lives on Ask the Messengers.
Hi, my name is Leroy Carey. I'm the host for your show today on Ask the Messengers. We have Paul, who has a lot of time in recovery process, and James, who has a lot of time in the recovery process. And we're going to be talking about today what the 12 steps has done for us. The first step, which is we are powerless over our addiction, that our lives have become unmanageable. Tell me, Paul, what does that mean to you?
Well, thank you for inviting me to the show, Leroy. It means a whole lot to me. And let me just first say this, that I'm a person in long-term recovery. And what that means is that I have over 27 years without using any minor mood-altering chemicals. And when I first met you, you were very influential and helped me in my early recovery. So I'm real honored to be here and share this platform with you. Now, what step one means to me is a great deal more than what it meant in the beginning. I'm powerless over my disease of addiction and my life is unmanageable.
Yeah.
Now, when I first came into this process, I thought that was drugs. I had no concept of the disease of addiction. I just knew that I just couldn't keep money in my pocket because I smoked too much crack. It's a very, very unsettling admission to admit and accept that I'm an addict, that I am powerless over the disease of addiction, and my life is unmanageable because I thought I could run my life. Not only run my life, but manage yours too, if you allow me to. And so admitting that concept, what it did, it gave me a freedom, and it gave me an opportunity to make some choices. So now knowing that my life is unmanageable, and it is still unmanageable today. And people might ask me, well, Paul, you've been in this process for over 27 years, and you haven't used drugs. You're still powerless over drugs and addiction, and your life is still unmanageable? I say, yes, it is. The only reason why I'm successful in this recovery and in life now is because I've turned over management of my life to spiritual principles.
That is really beautiful, Paul. James, who is my sponsee,
Yes.
tell me, what does that mean to you?
It means complete surrender. You can't conquer anything that has a devastating effect on your life until you surrender to it. I believe the first step is the open door to admitting that you have a problem. And not only just a life problem, but a thinking problem. So the first step is a step that I think should be attempted several times, because as you grow and evolve into the person you want to become, you have to surrender at all times, because I'm obsessive and compulsive by nature. And before I used any drug, I was that. So me surrendering and understanding that my disease, it will control my whole life. But I have to conquer it by admitting to it. And this first step allows me to do that.
I understand what powerless really means, to the point I'm talking about for myself.
Yes, sir.
I used to use against my will.
Yes.
Even when I didn't want to, I found a way to use anyway.
Yes.
Knowing that I didn't want to, but I just became powerless over that. Tell me some of the things, Paul, that had become unmanageable for you during your addiction part.
Ooh, I couldn't manage to keep a job.
Okay.
Amen.
I could not manage a clear and coherent thought. Only thing that I could think of was how to get one and how to get one more. And my world had shrunk so small that those were my only priorities.
It's not where we were, but where we going. James, tell me where you at now.
Through my higher power, I thank God that I don't think about using. I don't desire to use drugs and alcohol, because I know the devastating effect that it has in my life. So learning the steps and using the steps and the principles are the guiding factor that allows me to stay clean and free. not only do I have to work on me, I have to work on my behavior, because my behavior can lead me to a place that I don't want to be. And me as a recovering addict will allow me to go back into those old behaviors and those old friends, and that's not a good place for a recovering addict like myself. So today, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to have a sponsor that has so many years clean and so much understanding about what it is to stay clean. It's not getting clean, it's staying clean. So I'm just grateful today that I have that in my life.
Tell me, James, what's the program that you got going now?
So my program exists with helping people experiencing homelessness. People who experience homelessness come into that way of life due to substance use disorders, mental illness, and a whole array of different avenues that lead them to a place where they don't have adequate nighttime residency. So that's what I do, and I've been doing that for about 7 years. And thank God it's helping a lot of people here in Detroit, Wayne County, find home in their homelessness.
You know, that is a wonderful thing. I am so grateful to have you two guys here. And we're going to talk about these steps and how they came and changed our lives. We'll be right back, and we're going to get into step 2. Thank you.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
Welcome back. We are going to talk about step 2. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Paul, give me your interpretation of step 2.
Well, Leroy, the program has taught me to get an understanding of this for myself. And so over the years, I've come to different levels of understanding step 2. My current understanding and belief is, and it hasn't changed much, because what I'm so glad about step 2 is that it says we came to believe. It didn't say we started out believing. So it gives me opportunity to walk into a belief system. And I need to change my belief system because everything that I believed in didn't believe in me.
Okay.
And if I expect to achieve any ongoing recovery, the second step is necessary. Now, people think that step 1 is just about not using dope. They think if they are clean that they are working step 1 perfectly. It's not the case. It's an admission that has to go into your soul.
Amen.
And after coming from that admission, know that I used to live and live to use. Yeah. Now you take using out the equation. What is my meaning and purpose in life? Step 2 says it helps me with my powerlessness, uselessness, and helplessness. Now, when it talks about that term of being restored to sanity, I have never been, and this is just my understanding, I have never been insane. I understand that the insanity that they're talking about in step 2 is a symptom of my disease. Just like in step 1, it says my inability to control my use of drugs is a symptom of the disease of addiction. Now, in step 2, it says the most obvious insanity of the disease of addiction is my obsession to use drugs. So on the outside looking in, when I'm under the attack from this disease, people might look at me and say, that boy crazy. But that is just a symptom.
Yes.
That's like when I was cracked out, he a crackhead. But no, I'm not a crackhead. I'm a human being. I'm suffering from the disease of addiction.
Amen.
So when I exhibit these outward manifestations of insanity, actually what that is that I'm trying to deal with my powerlessness, uselessness, and helplessness, and I don't know this new way enough. So I'm still believing the old instead of the new, so it might look like I'm insane. Now, it also refers to in this second step that the only way to get through this step is through pain. It says, even after I use the drugs and anything else to cover it up, the pain forces me to seek a power greater than myself that can relieve my obsession to use. Amen. Now, we're going beyond dope now. We're talking about using. Now, we all know that the true concept or the true meaning of addiction is obsession and compulsion. So what am I obsessed about and what am I compulsed to do because of that obsession? So this second step is the beautiful step because it allows me to come into a new belief system. And the funny thing about this step, it says that we begin to develop this relationship by simply admitting to the possibility of a power greater than ourselves. Now, I ain't saying there is, Leroy.
All right.
But there just might be someone smarter than Paul. Now, knowledge is power. And so admitting that, I open the door for this relationship.
Thank you, Paul. Give me something there, James, on your interpretation of the second step.
Well, power greater than myself. My disease core is self-centeredness, and I need to get out of myself in order to find any kind of healing. Restored back to sanity implies that I'm insane. But if the literature speaks of doing something over and over again, expecting different results, is a method of insanity. So a lot of times I would use drugs in the wake of devastation and destruction in my life and continue to use. And so when I come to believe a power greater than me can restore me back to sanity, I have to get out of James. And me getting out of me allows me to not only help myself, but someone else. So step 2 is a very powerful step for me. It allowed me to understand that I am not so great and others are so little. My situation is not so great and that I'm so little. I have to believe that I can be restored back to sanity from an invisible power greater than myself. And so a lot of times I would use and know that I have to pay a bill. I'd have to take care of my responsibility to my family. And in the wake of doing that, I still would use. And at the end, I'm in despair. And so, doing that over and over again also creates a way of thinking and it created a way of thinking in me that allowed it to be debilitating. And I thought less of myself. My self-esteem went so low, went to animalistic behavior and living circumstances. And so when I discovered recovery in NA, it allowed me to see me, and I didn't like what I saw. So I sought to change it. And the principles and the steps are the guiding forces that allowed me to change myself.
That is really very informative from both you guys.
Yes.
The second step is simply, for me, it's about a belief system. I had to believe in something, and I've had a belief system even when I was using.
Yes.
Because I remember when I was a kid, my mother used to say every time that you lost a tooth, put it under your pillow, and a tooth fairy would bring 50 cents and put it under your pillow.
Not a tooth fairy.
And a tooth fairy.
Right.
And I remember one time I took a string and put it around one of my teeth to see if I could pull it out, put it around the door and see if I could slam the door so I could pull the teeth out, so I could put it under the pillow so I could get 50 cents.
You'll make some
So
money.
even when I wasn't into my active addiction, the behavior of the obsession and the compulsion was already there. But I believed that it was actually a tooth fairy. And when I came to this program that me, you, and James are in, it made me understand that my belief system can be used toward God.
Yes.
So, I started understanding that the power that was greater than me was something that I needed to get into, even though I couldn't see, touch, or feel it.
That's right.
So I am just real grateful to understand. We're going to try to get to the third step. I hope we have enough time. The third step is that we turned our will and our lives over to the care of God. Tell me some of the things that you've done to turn your life over to the care of God.
First, I had to have a concept of God. Coming up in the church with my mother, my father, and my family members, I had somewhat of a concept of God. But turning my will over was a very hard thing for me to do because I'm very willful. And in the course of using drugs and alcohol, I developed strange mannerisms and different ways of dealing with day-to-day life. I understand that God is merciful. He's powerful. I understand that he forgives all. And when I was able to submit to that, then I had an opportunity to look at not only what I'm doing day to day, but what I can do to please God. And what he will require from us as human beings, as children, is to help each other. And that's why I got into the efforts of helping people experiencing homelessness and those who have debilitating health, chronic health conditions. So, yeah, that's my concept. God's been good.
Give me something, Paul.
Man,
Third step.
Third step. Let me just back to the second step just for a minute, because when we talk about faulty belief systems, now in the second step it said that most of us lacked a working or
relationship
with the God,
Yes.
with the
Yes.
power within ourselves.
Exactly.
Right.
Now I didn't say that we didn't have a relationship.
Right.
It just wasn't working.
Right.
And I can remember when I had a Cadillac in my driveway. I had a Cadillac, but it wasn't working. So I couldn't drive it, so it couldn't do its function as to transport me.
Right.
And that's how it was with my belief in the second step. Now in the third step, when it says that we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. Mm-hmm. Not me understanding God, but a God of my understanding. And I need to I have to come into my own concept of God.
Yes.
Not from dogma, but from what works for me.
Yes.
Now, I don't have to argue with God about taking my will back because I'm not giving my will to God. What I'm doing is I'm turning my will and life over to the care of God. And I use this analogy. I say that I work for a living. I deposit my paycheck in the bank. I'm not giving my money to the bank. What I'm doing is turning my money over to the care of the bank. Mm-hmm. It is still my money, but in the bank it can draw a little interest. It's a little bit safer than it is in my pocket. Mm-hmm. So that's how I look at this third step. I'm not giving my will and life to God. I'm turning it over to the care of. Yes. And when I turn it over to the care of God, then it gets some benefits. Yes. You know, I get some dividends. I get some security.
Yes, sir.
I get some looking after. I get some protection.
Yes, sir.
But it's still my will. God gave me my will. You don't want my will?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, we have touched briefly on what step 1, 2, and 3 is. Mm-hmm. You have a really good opportunity to come to the Greater Community Center Church.
Yes.
It's on Schaefer and James Cousin every Wednesday and Friday. We have meetings for you to come to. You can come in and learn what the steps are from people with experience.
Yes.
Me and Paul, we got about the same amount of clean time, and we are very happy and more than grateful to help you. Yes. So with that, Ask the Messengers are very proud to have served you today.
Yes.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
Hi, my name is Brenda Owens. I work at Greenfield Hair Collections, and I love doing hair. I've been doing it for almost 30 years now, actually. And I do a little bit of everything. This style right here is a pin curl. This is my weekly client, Lenise, short and sassy. She just got a fresh haircut last week. The name of the salon is Greenfield Hair Collections. We're located on Greenfield between Outer Drive and Curtis. I'm on the second level. My name is Brenda, and my phone number is 313-729-8194. Give me a call. I love what I do.
Paul, give me your final thoughts on step 1, 2, and 3.
Well, Leroy, steps 1, 2, and 3, they are the foundation of our program. And what can be tricky about this is that it's not a 3-step program, it's a 12-step program. So many times addicts get caught up in what we call the NA walls, and that's step 1, 2, 3. Step 1, 2, 3. Step 1, 2, 3 will get you through any time, any situation for the day. But to further your recovery and to continue in this new way of life, there's 9 other steps that we need to practice.
James, give me your final comment on step 1, 2, and 3.
First, let me thank you for allowing me to be here on Ask the Messengers. My concept of it is just as my brother Paul spoke of. You know, 1, 2, and 3 is like the waltz, but most importantly, you can apply a step to every aspect of your life. When you learn to use the 12 steps, that's why they're so important. And by them being important, we have to use them in our day-to-day life. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for both of you guys being on the show. We are so enthused about carrying this message and about the program that we're on. Ask the Messengers is a program of simply giving out a message of recovery that any addict can stop using drugs and lose the desire to use. We are very grateful for that. Yes. We thank God for George and the producers of this program. Yes. And with that, Ask the Messengers.
All right.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
My drug of choice was the one that was free. Any one that was free was good for me. Crack, liquor, it didn't matter. I got high until it destroyed my life. And a lot of times you don't even recognize what drugs have done to you until it's too late. Everybody else recognize how bad you is, but you still think you got it together, and I'm just grateful for a program that's able to change your life. And if you here today struggling with getting high, we have a proven plan for recovering addicts. And if you want a better life, this program is simply changed my entire life a day at a time. I did a whole lot of stuff that I'm not proud of, but I'm proud today. I've been clean 25 years, and this have truly changed my entire life around. I don't look like what I've been through. That's the blessing of what this program, and that's what we do today. We learn how to live and enjoy life like we supposed to. It's a wonderful thing to be clean. And a lot of time we don't know how to get excited about this program. I just had a 25-year anniversary. We had tons of people there. And what we do today is we learn how to have clean fun. We do so many things today. I'm even taking up ballroom classes today. But we do that clean today. The simple things of life is like going to the movies, taking a trip with your family, stuff I never did. And so today, the gift that we offer is free. It don't cost you a dime, And so I'm just grateful to be here. Opportunity, maybe I can help somebody out there that's struggling with addiction. You don't know that you may be the next Rick P. You may not know that, but this program is waiting for you.
Of everything that I did and everything that I lost and things that only addicts do, I just can't believe that was me. And again, I'm very thankful that I'm sober today.
Even though we had a lot of pain, even though we felt a lot of rain, Mama made us who we are today. I don't regret a thing, thank you for everything. Even though we had a lot of pain, even though we felt a lot of rain, Mama made us who we are today. I don't regret a thing, thank you for everything. But now it's over, cause now you're sober. And I'm so proud of you, Ma, cause you came out a soldier. We didn't understand, but God, He knew your plan. He knew that it would make you stronger and make me who I am. And who I am is great. I create music and help who I can. The people can relate to the pain that turned me to a man. I know God's work is never done, ready for whatever comes. I just wanted my mom back, but now I got a better one. No, we had a lot of struggles, but thank you for everyone, cause they taught me how to face all of my fears and never run. So thank you for everything. Swear I wouldn't change a thing.
Won't you help us to do exactly what our motto is, and that is to help save lives? Won't you send a generous donation to the information there on the screen? We would love to have you as part of our partnership to help save lives. You may not be able to go out in the street, you may not be able to come here to the show, but you can send your donation that helps us save lives.